Hi, Candy. Thank you all for joining. We are starting shortly.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Hello all, welcome to our meeting. Let me just admit someone. It's 6:05 and we want to begin. This is the new members orientation meeting. And this evening we have lined up for you a presentation of just what Toastmasters is and especially what is commonly referred to as our Toastmasters educational program known as Pathways. If you're a new member, you will be hearing a lot about pathways. Yes. You'll be hearing a lot about pathways, and Pathways is the educational program for Toastmasters. And to start us off today, we'll be training with Kendi Mwabila. Kendi Mwabila is a member of Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters group. And Kendi, are you ready?
Yes, Mawia, I'll be ready. I was waiting for a lengthier introduction, but it is all right.
No, I was just waiting first
No,
to
I'm
know
pulling
you're
your
there.
leg.
Like maybe I'm talking and you're not even there.
No, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm here with you.
Okay. So
Yes.
let me give you a lengthy introduction. Kendi Mwabila is a member of Kwanza Toastmasters, Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters Club. She has been a member since I think 20, is it 16, Kendi? Or is
Yes,
it
16.
earlier? From 2016, yes, we joined the same year. She's currently a pathway mentor and she has accomplished great feats both in the old program and in the new program. So Kendi, karibu sana, and please take us off as we begin our training this evening.
All right. Thank you so much, Mawia. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you for responding. Can others follow suit? Can we get to hear your voice? Can I get to hear that you're here? I see a thumbs up from Liz. Who else? How are you this evening?
Great. Good evening, Kendi.
Good evening. I see my
Good
mentee
evening,
Eric
Kendi.
Yeah, good evening. Good to see you. Michael, Nicholas, Grace, George, Jaggy, I hope you're all well.
Hello, good evening, Jaggy here. I'm well. Thank you. I'm happy to.
Good. If you can kindly just show me, or not show me, but turn on your video. At least I feel I'm not alone. Thank you, Maria. I hope you'll keep your video on. If you can just turn on the video, I feel like we're in sync.
I will.
Yeah, thanks, teacher.
I'll give you a second or two for the ladies who like doing touch-ups before a video call. Please do so. I think I'll also change my location to one that you can see me better. And I believe that results in better interaction. Yes, this is perfect. All right. I don't know where you're tuning from, but I can tell you Nairobi has been pretty warm today. There hasn't been a lot of traffic where I am, and I am glad to be here. So if you can just type on the chat where you're tuning from, so that we know if all of us are from Nairobi or the others who are the outskirts. Then we can place our orders. If you're somewhere in the rural areas, you bring us some tomatoes. Onions are very expensive. It'll be glad to see where you're tuning in from.
Yes, somewhere along Langata Road in traffic.
Ah, okay. Nairobi
Thank you.
people, I see Mombasa Road. Is there anyone who's outside Nairobi? This is going to be quite an interactive session. So the earlier you start typing and responding to me, the better it will be and the earlier we get to finish. Westlands, Nairobi, Nairobi. Okay, so a majority of us are in Nairobi. All right, great. So to just dive in, I'd like to start with a quote on leadership. You and I know now that we are Toastmasters that one of the key things in leadership is understanding or communicating effectively. And I like, who is this? There's someone, this is actually a quote from Toastmasters, that the art of communication is a language of leadership. When you're able to communicate, you're able to lead. So congratulations for joining Toastmasters and starting your journey. I'm sure this will be quite an interesting one. I can't wait to see you grow and become the remarkable person that you intended to be when you joined. So I'll encourage you to keep your eyes on the ball. Whatever brought you here, keep at it. Don't drop the ball. Don't lose focus. And just like that, we'll segue into pathways. Maria, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let me put it on presentation mode. Right. So Pathways is the program that we use currently in our Toastmasters. And it is the course, if you've been into universities that have put their courses online, this is quote unquote the place where you get the courses that you get to select. So what we're going to go through today is understanding what Pathways is, how do you select a path, what is Basecamp, and how do you access other resources. So Pathways, like I told you, it's an education program that is currently in Toastmasters. This is a program that is meant to address your, I don't want to say issues, but your specific interest. The area that you desire to grow is the area that you get to grow in leadership. So this is the path that gets to strengthen you and enable you to communicate better. It builds over 300 competencies. Can you believe it? I don't know which program can compare to this. Is someone saying something? Okay. If you know of a program that builds 300 competencies, please let me know. I haven't seen any, because it's not just about communicating and delivering speeches and taking roles in meetings. But if you see the person whom you become, it's a person who you become at the end of it, in the process of it, because there's no end. There's no, when you finish a pathway, there's another pathway. There's another path rather. So there's a lot of learning from the 11 specialized path, of which I'm going to inform you about them because Toastmasters has tweaked them. And there are real world transferable skills. How is this? Again, it's not just about public speaking. The different programs that we'll get to see on in different parts, the levels and the projects really resonate outside Toastmasters. So this were the 11 parts, dynamic leadership, all the way to, let me just put this down, visionary communication at the very bottom. These 11 parts have, however, been reduced. Several parts were, okay, at the beginning of this year, they indicated that they're going to reduce the parts. So these ones are unavailable for purchase. The ones that we have are dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, presentation mastery, persuasive influence, visionary communication. So if you've logged into Toastmasters, you'll find that there are parts that you will not be able to select, and there are others that you will be able to select. For those ones who are coming in, the first path is free. But for those of us who already are engaging in the second or third path, when it comes to purchasing, because the first path is free and thereafter you pay $20, these are the only ones that are remaining for purchase. But for the sake of those ones who are here, who had already selected these other parts, you'll still be able to access them up until you complete your path. But after that, they will be unavailable. So these are the ones that are available moving forward. There's a beautiful thing that has been happening. There'll be a new offering. That's what they're calling it. So in addition to the parts that are remaining, they're looking into adding other things on the Toastmasters website. And then in contrast to the projects that are quite long, there's a short course that will be introduced, and this ones will have 3 projects each. I have not checked yet whether this has been done. So I've already answered this question. For those ones who will ask, I am working in a path that will no longer be available for purchase. When the new version of Basecamp rolls out, will I be able to continue and complete my path? The answer is yes, and I have explained it well. If you are new and you have not selected a path, this is the place where you get to understand how to select a path. So when you go to toastmasters.org, you put in your credentials, your email address or number, membership number, and then your password. This is the page that you see. It will tell you, welcome, Kendi. You'll find the tabs about education programs, membership, etc., etc., etc. So for you to choose a path, let me just remove that. Let me stop sharing and then I show you how to do it real time. And as I do that, by a show of hands, have you all been able to log into Toastmasters platform? How many? By a show of hands, just raise your hand up if you've been able to log in. Okay, I see Christine. Who else? I see Njagi, I see Eric, okay, Nicholas, fantastic. So a number of you have already started interacting with it. Have you had any challenges selecting your paths? Let me ask that differently. How many of you have already selected a path? Okay, Kristen, Nicholas, Jackie. Okay. So let me show you that real time how you select this. Let me log in first. Okay, I'll share my screen with you. Great. So this is the page where I was showing you. This is what you see once you've keyed in your email address and password. So when you scroll down, there you go. You'll get to see all these things, my education and achievements, among many other things. Okay, my computer is freezing. So all this, everything that's here is for you to explore and understand. If you click on education programs, My net is a bit slow today. You'll forgive me for this. Once you click on education programs, this is what you get to see. The overview, the pathways, the speechcraft, and the youth programs. So what we're talking about is pathways. You click on pathways to select your path. This is for those who have not yet selected a path. Now, what happens here, you'll of course read all those. You'll see the 11 specialized learnings and the competencies that they're talking about, and also the number of languages that this program is in. It's from Arabic all the way to Korean and Tamil. So if you want to choose a path, this is where you select. You scroll all the way down and you see a place written choose a path. So you select choose a path. And this is where we are. So real time. You select your language. I believe all of us here are English speakers. Okay, it's loading again. So you go directly to select your language. If you want to speak another language, or if you want the program in another language, that's up to you. But at least in Kenya, we speak English and Kiswahili for the bilingual clubs and for the English only clubs. After you select the language, it will ask you whether you want your materials to be obtained digitally. And the reason why this is there is because initially we had a legacy manual. And this is what we called it was the legacy program. So Pathways replaced the legacy program. And for the legacy program, we didn't have digital resources. We used to have physical manuals, the competent communicator and the competent leader. So for your roles, we had the competent leader, and for the communication, the speeches, we had the competent communicator, and they had to be evaluated real time. You couldn't do a speech without carrying that competent communicator manual, because that's where your evaluator will give you real-time feedback. So now you'll click on digital resources because this is what's available to us. And then how would you like to select your learning path? So different people do these things differently. There are others who come with a mindset, okay, I know I need to increase my humor when delivering speeches. So they go directly to view all path options to just get an idea of what's being offered. After that, you click continue. And once you click continue, it will give you all the details of the 11 paths and what happens on each path in terms of the levels that are there, what programs will be taking. So as you can see, if I was to take engaging humor, I will click continue. And this is, it will show you that you'll have to confirm, then you proceed all the way up until payment. At least for me, it will be paying because this will be my third path. I'm on my second path. So now going back to choosing a path. Now go back again. And you can see what I told you about the other programs not being purchased. If you click on any of those ones that are not available, like the innovative planning right here, you'll see will no longer be available for purchase starting the first half of 2024. So it's good to know that. Read the tiny print at the very bottom to be able to know which parts will be available and which ones will not. So going back to selecting a path, you've seen when you say view all options, it takes you to a place where you can view the various parts that are there. And then you read about them and you can select whichever makes you happy or whichever you see you're interested in. The other option, and you've seen it's taken me back to the selection page. Okay, this one is giving me, it's taking me to my, I didn't select presentation mastery. The other option is choosing to assess what you desire, or for the computer to select for you to recommend for you, depending on what you want to work on. Okay, it's not going back, but I have it on my slide. So I'll just go back to my slide and then you'll get to see it. The assessment will ask you several questions. And from the way you respond to these questions, then it will recommend a path for you. You can choose to settle on that recommendation or still go back to viewing the paths. So going back to my presentation. Mawia, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Good. So this is where it takes you. Select your path, digital resources, the way we've just gone. Now, if we go to take an assessment, this is where it will take you. So these are basically the things that you want to improve on. Is it public speaking? What topics are you interested in rather? Public speaking, coaching, networking, change management. What exactly do you want to work on? What topics are interesting to you? And you'll keep selecting. That will be the fourth step until you get the recommendation. Now, this other step was the one I was telling you about, and you've already done it, so you can see. After you've chosen a camp, say a path, not a camp, a path, you go to all the way. If this is your first one, it will just give it to you free and tell you it's now available on Basecamp. But if you choose, and this is your second path, it will take you up until the place where you'll have to put in your card details to be able to make the payment to Toastmasters to buy the path for $20. All right. The other thing is Basecamp. But before I proceed to Basecamp, do you have any questions regarding selecting your path? Was it clear? Does it mean that in addition to the membership fees, I will also be required to? If you're doing a second path, yes. But if you're a new member, this is your first time joining Toastmasters, the first path is free of charge. You're not charged for the first path. Njagi, is that understood?
What does the
Understood.
what
Thank
does
you.
the first part entail?
Okay, it entails all the projects. You'll get to see that now in Basecamp. When I tell you what happens at Basecamp, you'll get now to see what exactly the content of each, not each path, at least my path. But when you go back to selecting, when you're viewing the assessment, not viewing the options, you can actually get to see how it has broken down the different projects under each path. How many paths can one choose at the beginning? You can start, I will recommend you start with one first, and then as you build momentum, you get to pick another one. So at the very beginning, start with one, but you can choose all of them. If you want to do the 6 parts concurrently, you can choose all the 6 parts. Just know the first one will be free, so you'll have to pay an additional, how many were remaining? Is it 6? You have to pay $100 because the first one is free, so the rest of the 5, you'll pay $20. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so let's get to Basecamp. This is where
Sorry,
all the work. Yes.
Sorry,
Please go
I'm
on.
unable to type. Please forgive me. I'm unable to type at the moment. So it's my first time. I'm trying to log into the website, but I'm not able to. Would you maybe kindly guide me on how I can go about that?
Okay. Mawia, have you activated Goreti? And Goreti, have you received an email from Toastmasters confirming your membership?
That's what I wanted to ask. Can you check? Most of the time, sometimes the emails go to your spam. Confirm the email that you gave the VPM or the treasurer. And then once you check that, if you haven't received an email, check your junk or spam to confirm that you have received the email. But if you have not, maybe you can say chat me and then I can confirm with our club membership officer.
Thank you, Mawia. Goreti, it's okay. I've seen you've unmuted yourself. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much for that. I think I'll follow up with Maria later on when I don't find it in my email. Thank you.
Okay, great. You shouldn't have a challenge for everyone here. You shouldn't have a challenge logging into Toastmasters. So if you have a challenge, please reach out to the Exco to help, because it's just putting your email and your password. That's it. Great. So let's proceed to Basecamp. This is where all the work is, as I was saying, because this is where you get to access your program. So when you're talking about Basecamp, you can see it's under education program. So when you log in again, you can see education program there, circle in an oval, red oval. So you click education program. Please take note of this, because this is where you get to access the content of your path. Once you've selected the path, that's the easiest part. This is where the work is, because you'll be interacting with your Basecamp every single time you do a speech. Every single time you want to know what project to take up next, this is very, very crucial. So education programs is where you click. After that, it takes you to this page where it says, go to Basecamp, access your path and learning materials. So you click on access, all right? Once you've clicked on access, oh, that's option 1. Option 2, when you log into the page, still there's a direct go to Basecamp tab. Okay, so let me take you through that Basecamp. Click on Education Camp, click on Access. Option 2, go to Basecamp. When you open the page, you just scroll down. When you log into your Toastmasters page, scroll down, you'll see Go to Basecamp. You click on it, it takes you to, this is the lengthy one. It shows you your club, now the Kwanza Kenya club number, membership number. And then now you go to your paths and learning. And the reason why we have this, for those ones who might not know, you can be a member of more than one club. So depending on which level you are at which club, the list of the clubs you're in will be showcasing here. So I am in Kwanza Kenya only. So that's why it has Kwanza Kenya. You click on Kwanza Kenya, it takes you to paths and learning. This is where the education is, all the learning materials are. You can see there's speech evaluations, there's tutorial and resources. So you'll see later the speech evaluations, what that is all about, and the tutorials and resources, what it's all about. But for now, the paths and learning. When you click on that, this is where it takes you. So the path that you selected will be reflected on this page. So I have my Pathways Mentorship Program, my Persuasive Influence, and I just activated my Distinguished Toastmaster project. The Pathways Mentorship Program, I've already completed it. So if I take a picture of my current Basecamp, it's no longer there. I finished my Effective Coach path. It's no longer showing here. But if Mawia was to capture my name with my accomplishments in Toastmasters, she will write Kendi Mwabila, comma, EC. EC is Effective Coach. So that's a program that I've been on. Once I finish Persuasive Influence, it will be PI. Kendi Mwabila, EC, PI. Now I am, Mawia, baby, you need to put my name as Kendi Mwabila, EC, PMP, because I've completed my Pathways Mentorship Program path. So if you see those initials, it's just referring to the path that you have completed. Now, when you are seeing the path, the best thing you can do now for you to go ahead and access is click on Open Curriculum. Once you've clicked on Open Curriculum, it shows you where you are in terms of your levels. So if you're starting your very first level, which is introduction, getting to know Toastmasters, getting to know who you are, and several other projects that are under it, it will come It will show you that, first it will show you 0% at the curriculum progress, and you will click on level 1 to be able to see the projects under level 1. Once you click, and I think I'll show you that real time.
Hendy,
Yes.
hello, I'm sorry. I sent a message. I'm not with you, because I'm trying to open. I go to education programs, but I'm not getting the page you are at.
What are you seeing on your page?
Okay, welcome, Mary.
Mhm.
Then there's education programs, membership, resources. So I go to education programs. I click there.
Mhm.
What comes down is education programs. So I'm not going to the steps. So I'm just on overview. That's all I can see here.
Let me take you back for a minute
Yeah, please.
so that we're together. And these slides will be shared with you, so fret not.
Oh, then that's okay if you'll share.
Okay, great. I will share with you. And also, Mabe, if you can please remind me, because I know I might easily forget after we're done. There's so many resources on not on Facebook, on YouTube, videos that can actually also work with you step by step to show you how to go about it. Okay. That's the beauty of Toastmasters. There's so many resources wherever you want to get resources regarding your projects, regarding anything Toastmaster related, there are resources. So going back to real time, let me show you how we do this. Christine, you can walk with me. You can try do it on your
Okay.
side. Hopefully, if you have you selected a path already?
Yes, I do have one.
Okay, which path are you on?
Presentation mastery.
Okay, good.
So I'm not able to go to Basecamp. I think that's my problem because I can see the education program.
If you see the education program, what you're
But from
talking
the,
about, look at my screen.
but that, yes, I can see your screen.
Uh-huh.
So mine is showing overview. After education programs, it's going straight to overview. It's not giving me go to Basecamp.
Okay. I
So
think
I don't
then
know what I'm missing out.
there must be, what I'll do, we can chat on the side. Yeah. But I
Okay.
do not understand how it will be different from mine unless you haven't selected the path.
Well, okay, I selected some time back, but I should have selected it today. Is that what you're saying? Because I did
Not
it, I did
necessarily.
the exercise sometime. Yes, I did select the path. I
Okay.
went through the, yeah, so I can talk to you later. Thanks.
Okay, great. Okay. So I'll click access to take me to my base camp. And then now I'll walk you through how you access your program. It's taking time, but fret not. Okay, here we go. So this is the page I was telling you about. The path I'm on right now is persuasive influence. So when I click on open curriculum, you'll see the levels that I've done. So far, I have done level 4. I'm on level 4. I'm yet to complete a project it has done, completed level 4. And I can see it's updating right now at 62%. Okay. One. This is what you see. So the path is persuasive influence. The level is level 1. And this right here, the icebreaker evaluation and feedback, researching and presenting are your projects. Speech. And I know perhaps someone will ask, is it okay to mix up the different levels? I will say follow it, because there's a reason why they have put it in a sequential manner. Follow it from level 1, complete level 1. Really important until you master it, until you finish level 2, then you can look at the other projects, because those are projects that sometimes require up to 6 months to complete. It's a lengthy project that you can start working on slowly by slowly. But I will advise, please do level 1 and level 2, complete them, then look at the different projects in level 3 and 4 and 5. If it's something that you can incorporate in Toastmasters, well and good. The beauty of Toastmasters, it also gives you leeway to do the project outside. So if you have a project at work that requires high performance, there's a program called High Performance Leadership that requires you to get a committee, to work with a committee, to give a report on the committee. What is the committee doing? What are the plans that you've put in place? If you have a project like that at leadership project outside of Toastmasters, and this one is taking too long, but when you click on the icebreaker, the launch on the icebreaker tab level, it takes you to your evaluation form. In your evaluation, it's a project document. It's a document that gives you everything about your project, what is required. And here we go. How do you go about completing or doing that project? So if I'm to click on that very bottom part there, you'll see there's navigation, introduction, your assignment, assessing your skills before you do the project, the competencies that you will acquire after completing the project, content up and your evaluation. So you'll see that these are the resources that you get, evaluation resource. So when you're talking about having an evaluator evaluating your speech, this is a resource that you normally give your evaluator to look at, to understand what speech are you delivering and what are the objectives of that particular speech. So you always have to share this evaluation resource, and after you have spoken, please follow up with your evaluator for them to give you that document if it's physical, or to give you a written, a typed out evaluation for you to be reflecting on. I'm waiting for it to open. There you go. Every time you're about to give your evaluator the form, please ensure you've written your name, your date, your evaluator's name, and your speech title. We don't want scenarios where the evaluator is coming to you in the meeting to start asking you what was the title of your speech, or what is the title of your speech. Okay. So now going back to my presentation, I've shown you real time how it's done. You launch. After launching, this is what you get to see. And after that, okay, let me take you back. In level 1, all the projects there are compulsory. In level 2, all the projects there are compulsory. In level 3, that's when you start seeing an alternative project that you might take. So this is what we call the electives, the elective projects. For example, in level 4 of persuasive influence, the one compulsory project that I had to do was conflict, showing leadership in conflict. I have tweaked that name. That's not the original name. But for my elective, I had like hearts. Okay, it's refusing to. Okay. I had several projects to choose from, and I'll show you as we proceed. So the new learning, the base camp is being replaced from half of this year. It will be replaced by the new LMS. Remember, I said the 11 parts are reduced, will be reduced by half of this year. mid this year. And also Basecamp will be replaced by LMS. Why? A lot of people, and I do understand, Pathways is not easy to navigate. Basecamp is not easy to navigate. So because of that feedback, Toastmasters has decided that they will introduce LMS. It hasn't been introduced yet. I have not experienced it, but it will be introduced between now and June. Accessing other materials, but before we access other materials, I want to show you the resources that you'll actually get, not the electives that you'll get to interact with once you get to level 3 and 4. So going back to my Toastmasters page, confirm you can see it. Maria, can you see?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So level 1 has 4 projects. Level 2 has about 3 projects. Level 3 has now understanding conflict, and this is where the elective projects start. So if I was to click on view details, I decided to take a social speech. And in the social speech, this is where you get the eulogies, the toasting, giving an acceptance speech. There are quite a number, but you can still use presentation software, connecting with storytelling, creating effective visual aids, all the way up until knowing your sense of humor. So you get to do 2 projects. I did making connections through networking, and I also did delivering social speeches. So for each level, from level 3 going downwards, you'll have a compulsory speech project and an elective project. From level 4, I think you select only one. Leading in difficult situations, that was it. And then now for the elective projects in level 4, for this one, I've already created a podcast. I've done it. I'm here to share it. But it gets more intense. And this is where the 300 competencies we spoke about are reflected. Building a social media presence, managing a difficult audience, writing a compelling blog. You see, these are things that you won't say, I will do this in a week. If you're looking at level 4 and you're thinking ahead, which is something I will encourage you to do highly, you will start writing a compelling blog a month or 2 before what is expected of you to be delivered, for you to deliver at the meeting in the form of a speech or even share your blog. So learning how to go ahead and understand what is required of you from your project is quite crucial because it gives you time to plan and execute some of these things. And level 5 is where I told you there are quite a number of intense projects that you can also plan in advance and start working on them. So what is remaining in my level 5 is my high performance leadership, of which I will get to apply this easily because I'm part of the planning committee for Toastmasters East African Conference. I moderated a panel discussion for my elective project, and this one was outside Toastmasters setting. We were at a Rotary meeting, and we were trying to sell the idea of Toastmasters. So I moderated a panel discussion, and I got my credit for that. That is why I keep telling you there are opportunities for you to do some of this project outside, but you need to work with your VPE. Those are the elective projects. Back to my slide, and we're almost coming to the tail end. Oh, I've shared the wrong one. Let me share my slides, my presentation. Where are they? There you go. Accessing other materials. Toastmasters has plenty resources. You cannot get stuck as a Toastmaster. There's so many resources and tutorials that even by the time we are done with this, if you're struggling, if you still feel Candy should come and help me on this, please give me a call. But there are tutorials that can still help you navigate Pathways, navigate Basecamp, and any other thing that you want to do. So what tutorials are there? What resources are there? There we go. You can see evaluation, project description, resource documents, everything is there. If I want to mentor, there are resources for mentoring. If I want to do coaching at a club level, there are resources for coaching, and they're in different languages. So don't miss out on the opportunity to access these resources, interact with Basecamp, and learn what is there. And with that, every new beginning comes from some other beginnings end. I don't know what you're ending, but this is definitely a new beginning for you. So welcome to Toastmasters. I really pray and hope that it will be a journey that will be fulfilling, satisfying, and more so of growth and challenging yourself to become a better version of you. Back to you, Maria. Let me hear any questions before I hand over back to Maria, please.
Hello, do you have a question for our facilitator, Kendi Mobila?
Yes, question. I've just been listening to you, taking us through, and for sure I'm very lost, mostly because I was along the road. So
Yeah.
how can I go to catch up?
I will send you the screenshots. I will send you the presentation. Actually, let me just send it on the group right now. It will definitely not have worked if you're doing this when driving, because you need to look at the screen and perhaps even do it with me to be able to understand better.
Yeah, it was like listening to a sermon.
As someone that you don't understand, those sermons that come from Leviticus, you're like, what? Is that even in the Bible or Quran?
Yes, yes. Yeah, but it was good listening, and you have more or less encouraged me to start.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Any other question? I'll share it with Maria. Maria will disseminate it to the rest. I'll also share it on the group right now, on the chat. Anyone with a question can just unmute themselves and ask.
Yes, Candy, Liz here. I'm in kind of a noisy place, but I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
I wanted to find out how long does it take, approximately, Approximately how long does it take to finish a path?
That's a very good question. Liz, it's up to you. It's up to you. How fast do you want to make your money count? Make every single coin count. You can, the beauty of Toastmasters is it's self-paced. You can decide you want to finish it in the next 6 months, within the year you finished your path, but it's up to you. It's self-paced, no one will hurry you, but I will say make sure you're consistent with taking roles and delivering speeches. They go hand in hand. The moment you lose momentum, it'll be quite a drag to get back. So start looking ahead, start thinking of speeches, potential speeches, start thinking of topics. Make sure, just make your head very engaged with Toastmasters so that you have that momentum and you keep moving on the levels. But don't hurry it, because sometimes when we hurry to give speeches, we miss on the potential of growth, because when you take a step back, learn from the mistakes, learn from the areas of improvement, you're able to apply yourself better as compared to, I just want to finish this and move on. So make it count, pace yourself, work with your mentor. Your mentor will be a good guide to help you understand how soon or how fast you can deliver your speeches.
All right, thank you.
I see. Please go ahead, Njagi.
Thank you. It's nice listening to presentation, quite inspiring. Looking forward to getting into it. And now thinking of the next steps, just reflecting on what the next steps for me would be. You've mentioned about interaction with the evaluator or giving your work to the evaluator. I'm just wondering, so you get to select, how do you get an evaluator or how do you get there? Is that different from the mentor? And so that, as I seek to understand, now that I've selected a path, what do I do next?
Okay, another good question. Mawia, as our VPE, is responsible for allocating you a mentor. So a mentor helps you navigate through your speaking and leadership journey. Whenever you're taking up a new role or delivering a speech, you always work with a mentor to make sure that they guide you in terms of your delivery, in terms of your content, especially when it comes to meeting the objectives of a speech, and also articulating yourself or how you execute a particular role that you've never done before. A mentor becomes a very, very crucial guide. Then the evaluator is a person who does not know anything about your speech. They don't know how long you've been in Toastmasters. Their responsibility is when you are delivering a speech in that meeting, they go through the objectives. They introduce you and introduce the objectives of your speech, and thereafter they're able to give you feedback. So did Njagi meet the objectives of this speech? If it was an introductory speech and you started telling us about Kenya, you have not met the objective of the speech. So they give you feedback, and feedback is normally very constructive. If you've not attended no, I'm sure you have, because that's why you're here. You've attended a Toastmasters meeting and you've seen how evaluation is delivered. So the evaluator, you meet the evaluator in the meeting, but your mentor is the person who holds your hand and walks you through this Toastmasters journey. The beauty of a mentor the beauty of an evaluator, not a mentor, is that you can ask them to go a step ahead to move beyond the objectives. If you wanted to improve, say, on your pace, and that was not part of the objective, you can tell them, okay, last time I felt like I was dragging my speech a little bit. I would want to improve my pace. I've been working on my pace. Please give me feedback. In addition to the objectives, give me feedback on my pace. So they're able to also adjust to your needs and give you feedback on that. Have I answered you?
Yes, you have. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Njagi, I see your hand. That was George. Let's go to Njagi.
No, Njagi is the one who asked the question, the last question.
Oh,
so sorry.
Okay. So I had it right the first time. Any other person with another question?
But is there an office where if, let me say, a student is to meet with the mentor, they can meet all, it is, how do they meet and where?
It's up to you. We don't have an office unless you're coming to my office as your mentor. We do not have a Toastmasters office as such. Remember, this is a volunteer organization. The headquarters are in California in the US. Is it California? Is it California? I've forgotten.
Yes, it is.
I think it is. I thought for a minute I was confusing with the international conference that's happening in California. So yes, the headquarters are there. If the headquarters are there, I'm assuming that's where the office will be. But for these other regions, we do not have a specific office. So when you want to meet up with your mentor, it's up to you to arrange where to meet, what is convenient for you. Do you want to do it online? Do you want to do a physical meeting? It just comes down to the kind of arrangement you have with your mentor. You can do a Java or you can do a Karura.
A WhatsApp call.
A WhatsApp call, yes.
I just wanted to jump in there. Toastmasters is a peer-to-peer learning. So it's, I think, and I really need to emphasize this to everyone who has joined the meeting, it's a voluntary organization. So it's about everyone giving of their time freely. And so you have, as mentees or mentors, have to create the time to actively reach out to your mentor actively read the resources that are online, as Candy shared, actively go on YouTube and research so that you can learn through the program. So I just wanted to throw in that in there.
That's true. Thank you, Maria, for the emphasis. Yeah. Any other question? All right. So I can hand over to Maria. All the best, guys. If you do have any challenges, please, here's my number. Reach out. That will help. Maria, take it
Thank
away.
you so much, Candy, for that beautiful, beautiful presentation. We really enjoyed, because pathways, when you are a new member, feels like a mountain to be climbed. But once you start using or navigating Basecamp, it becomes it's so easy that you actually do it on autopilot. So it just needs you to begin. Just begin. It's like riding a bicycle. The first time you try it, it's difficult, but the more you use it or you get practice, the more it becomes easier to use. So that's the encouragement I would like to share with you this evening. So I wanted to share with you just an introduction. Mine will take even 15 minutes of what Toastmasters is. Maybe you are here, you have joined Toastmasters and you're wondering what even is the meeting rules and things like that. So I just wanted to share with you a presentation. Let me just share with you on my presentation. Sorry. I wanted to confirm, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you so much. So Toastmasters, what is Toastmasters as a new member? This is a nonprofit educational organization that empowers us to become more effective communicators and leaders. As Kenny was doing her presentation, she told you that once you join Toastmasters, there are over 300 competencies that you will learn. Maybe you didn't know how to use a PowerPoint presentation. You have to learn through Toastmasters. You have never stood before an audience. This is where you will learn. I remember when I joined Toastmasters in the year 2016, the reason I joined was because a friend knew I was struggling with confidence, and they had attended Toastmasters meeting and they encouraged me to join the meeting. When I joined because I just wanted to gain confidence. I attended a meeting and I was hooked. But as the years have gone, it stopped being about confidence to now even empowering myself as a leader. And most of you have interacted with, have seen me in the club, and I'm your vice president education. And so through even this role as a leader, I never signed up for Toastmasters for leadership skills, but I have learned so much in practicing the vice president education role and the different roles you will see at the club. So I hope you know that you may think you join for public speaking skills, but you will learn so much. I've learned networking. I have learned how to stand in front of an audience, write a speech, deliver it in seconds. So there are so many skills that you will learn even as you have joined Toastmasters. There is a big network of Toastmasters all over the world. We are in over 148 countries in the world. Any country you attend, I think in this day and age, there's a Toastmasters club. And that's one of the benefits of being a Toastmasters. If you have become a member of Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters Club here in Kenya, if you have a meeting, let's say in London, please Google if there's a Toastmasters club around where you've gone for a meeting or even your holiday, and you can attend the meeting. And when you attend the meeting, if you've paid up for your membership in Kenya, you don't have to pay guest fees. You will be welcomed with open arms because you are a member. Once a member of Toastmasters International, even though you joined through Kwanza Kenya, you will be able to attend any meeting. So that's the benefit. And one thing about Kendi and I, if we travel, we always, one of the things of networking in a new country is we always look for a Toastmasters club in that country, go to that meeting, and once you go to that meeting, you have people who will tell you about the country, the locality you are in. You will have something in common to discuss. So you always feel even comfortable in a foreign country. So those are some of the few benefits, not the few, the many benefits that you gain once you join a Toastmasters club. It's an effective, they provide dynamic, high value, experiential communication and leadership skills. Those are something I've already explained. So, sorry. The Toastmasters has different values. You'll hear, especially when you come to our Toastmasters club, our president likes asking this question: what are the values of Toastmasters? And the values that guide Toastmasters are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. So once you interact with the program, you will notice that, as we said again, Toastmasters is a self-paced program. You don't want to enter the program and say that you are in level 2, yet you know you're in level 1 project 2. There is no value that you gain if you tell anyone that you're in level 2, 3, 4, because the skills that you gain, they only benefit you. They do not benefit Maware, they do not benefit the organization. So integrity is very important. Respect, you'll notice respect will be highlighted when you're even sharing evaluations. We don't just bash you with negativity, but we empower you to share your feedback in a very positive way. Values of service. Right now, me and Kendi have taken our time out of our family schedules or work schedules to share with you how you can benefit from the Toastmasters program. And even as you go, you will interact with values like excellence as you conduct your roles in the different hierarchy in the Toastmasters program. Structure of Toastmasters, especially within the whole fraternity. I'm sure you'll enter Toastmasters meeting and hear that there's a president. You'll hear Mr. Japheth Mosau being introduced as the district director. The Toastmasters structure begins at the club level. And at the club level, we have the president. Then all the clubs are moved into an area. And once you move, all the clubs within that area then move to a division and then to a district. So, for example, Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters Club is, Kenya Toastmasters Club is within the Nairobi area, and we are located in Nairobi. We are in area 10. That's the area. So different areas have been, different localities have been divided in areas. So area 10 has maybe like 10 clubs within that area. Then all clubs within a certain area are moved, areas are moved into divisions, then divisions are moved to districts. So currently, Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters Club is in Division C, and that is in District 114. District 114 includes countries like Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and Ethiopia. So that's the East Africa fraternity. So Kwanza Kenya is within the East Africa District 1, 1, and 4. So you might go to a different country like South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. They are in different districts, but all districts report to the Toastmasters International. So it won't be that the programs are different, the structure is the same, it's just where your club is located. Within the club, there is a president. Our current president is Pascalia Mainge. Then under the president is the vice president, education, yours truly, Mawea Geshohe. And then we have vice president membership, which is Angela. We have vice president public relation, Dina Katema, treasurer Ian Bugi. We have our secretary, Christine Mugo. And finally, we have our sergeant at arms, that is Fidel. The different roles, the different leaderships have different roles. The president is in charge of the overall vision and direction and mission of the club. We have the vice president education, whose main role is to ensure that you are progressing well within the Pathways Education Program. The reason for today's training. Membership is in charge of ensuring we get new members to the club. Our vice president, public relation, is in charge of ensuring that we adhere to the standards that have been laid out by Toastmasters International in terms of how we present ourselves image-wise on social media to the general public out there. Please ignore my daughter and children in the background. Yes, then we have our treasurer in charge of money, secretary, our minutes, and sergeant at arms, the overall order and welfare of how our organization runs. So that's how the club leadership at the club is. But then within the club, there are different roles. When you enter Toastmasters meeting, there's the Toastmaster of the day. There's the grammarian role, evaluator role, accounter, speaker, hack master, general evaluator, timer, and table topic master. The only way I can help you understand these roles is if you come to our meeting, and once you see these roles in action, I will really encourage you as a new member to take up these roles to even get comfortable speaking within the club, especially the accountant role, the timer, the grammarian. Sometimes many people undermine the roles within the club, but it is through these roles that we are able to grow. I love taking up the accountant role because it reminds me how many hours I take in a meeting. I used to fear the grammarian role because I never wanted to incorporate a new word into my diction. But every time I take up that role, I learn a new word and my vocabulary is improved. So you learn different competencies, and these are the skills that you learn through these different roles. So my encouragement to you, even as you are navigating and trying to figure out pathways, please, my own personal advice, never attend a Toastmasters meeting and sit and just listen. Always aim to be at a meeting and take up a role. Because when you take up a role, that's the best way you can be able to learn and gain the different skills that Toastmasters has incorporated in the roles. These are some of the skills you will learn. Develop critical thinking skills. As you're there multitasking as an evaluator and trying to listen, you will practice time management, not just as a timer, but as a speaker. When you see the flag up as an evaluator, it will enhance your listening skills when you take roles like the hack master. It will sharpen your presentation skills. It will enable you to gain so many relationships. When I joined Toastmasters, as I said earlier, I had joined for confidence. But since I'm in business, I have gained so many business contacts within the club. And even when you enter the club, you see the club banners. Most of the time I do that because I'm in printing, branding world. And even during the conferences, I have gotten such great opportunities, printing trophies, the certificates. So I gained very good relationships within the club. And those are some of the skills that you can be able to learn. You learn how to network, you learn to tell others about your skills without feeling shy. You meet people outside the Toastmasters room and in your other areas and networks, and you are able to grow your relationship. You can speak without practice. You're called upon to speak table topics and so many other impromptu speeches. You implement and take feedback and your leadership skills, as I am currently in my vice president education role. So those are the beauty of being in Toastmasters, and that has come to the end of my presentation. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, but that is the beauty of Toastmasters and some of the skills that we learn from being in the Toastmasters program. I was just trying to summarize because I know you've consumed so much from Pathways. Any question? I had promised you 15 minutes of your time. Does anyone understand any of the club rules or need expansion on them? Elizabeth, we have Elizabeth, Faith, George, Goretti, Liz, Lucy, Nicholas. Faith, can I ask you a question? Okay, someone please tell me the different leadership roles within the club, at least 3, so I don't feel like I was talking to myself.
Can I answer?
Yes, anyone.
President,
Yes.
Vice President, Vice President Education,
Mhm.
and and Communications.
That's a VPR, Vice President, Public Relation.
Yes, Vice
Yes,
President, Public Relations.
thank you so much. The evaluator, those are not leadership roles, but those are just meeting roles that you can take within the club. Does anyone else have a question from what I've shared?
Yes, I do have a question.
Please ask.
Sinjage, yeah. Just
Yes.
in terms of the roles, I've seen you've encouraged that take up roles. Just wondering whether there's a point at which you can say you can start taking up roles, or having progress to a certain point, or one can take up roles at any point in time.
Yes, you can take up a role immediately. That's why when you become a member, I encourage you to take up roles like accountant, timer, and as your vice president education, if you are interested in any role, please reach out to me and I will assign you. And what happens when you take up a role is I'll share with you materials of how to conduct the role in the club. And most of the times I try to assign you someone who will sit next to you, who has done those roles so many times, and they can guide and lead you through the meeting. So that's another way of learning. It won't be your mentor guiding you through the meeting, but just someone in the meeting who can show you how to be the timer, the grammarian, and you can practice. As I said when I began my presentation, if you are in a Toastmasters meeting, I highly encourage you to never come to a meeting and just sit by, because you learn through serving as one of the values of Toastmasters. And that's why any meeting I ever attend, I always take up a role, be it even whichever role, I will always serve, because I know I gain value by serving. So Njagi, if you want a role this coming meeting on the 23rd, please let me know. The timer role is available. Any other question? Okay, that wraps up the end of this meeting. I am so happy that you joined, and I know it's just because Kendi has presented on the pathway training today, you might not be able to action it immediately, but at least now you have a rough idea of how we access our training materials. I will encourage you to take time to go on YouTube and just type in the words, how do I access my first project? And your first project is an icebreaker speech. Just type that, and let me tell you, the amount of resources that will come up on YouTube will guide you. And I have shared the PowerPoint presentation to each one of you. And if you have a question, I know you each have my number. Please feel free to ask me any question, and I'm there to assist you. If you have no question, we are free to leave, and I'll share the recording once it's uploaded. So thank you so much. It was great having you all here.
Thank you, Mawia.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You too.
Okay, thanks, and say hi to those fellas you are multitasking with.
I know, thank you. Thank you so much.